Hello there, I wanted to do a shout-out video of sorts to an individual named Matticus Tattooi, or Tattooi, I'm not really sure how to pronounce that. He's doing a subscriber giveaway right now. He's got the Korean steelbook of the Darren Aronofsky film The Wrestler. I'm not sure which region it is, so I'm not actually officially entering his contest, but I wanted to just mention him because I've seen other people enter and they were answering his questions for the contest entry, and I wanted to answer them too. The link to his video is below. You need to be a subscriber to his channel. You need to comment with the link to your own video and like his video, and of course answer the questions in the video. So I'm doing the answering part at the very least. But I just wanted to, he seems like a really cool guy, and so I wanted to draw a little bit more of attention to his channel. I think he's got 800 subs now, which is why he's doing the giveaway. So, the questions. What movie was the first one they ever bought? And that's very, very simple, easy for me to remember. It was E.T. the Extraterrestrial. I bought it in 1988 when it first became available. I actually pre-ordered it from the video shop in my local Dominic's grocery store, which was close to where I lived. In '88, I was 15 years old. And what was unusual, of course, was that the movie not only was priced for purchase rather than, $100 or so of rental only, because no one, would actually buy it for that much. Or maybe some people would. I mean, it is E.T. after all. But it was 6 years after the movie first came out in the theater. 6 years. Nobody ever waits that long to release a movie on video anymore, In fact, the movie E.T. got re-released 3 years after it first came out in '85, and only 3 years after that did it finally become available to own. Plus, the VHS, which is what people watched back then, was specially made for this particular movie. They used black plastic for VHS cassettes, but in this case they used green plastic for the hubs, the wheels that the tape is mounted on, and the door that opens at the back of the cassette. I still have my tape actually, but it's broken. Unfortunately, I dropped it. Not that I would watch it because I have the DVD of E.T. now, but yes, unfortunately that relic is no longer operational. I'm just holding on to it for nostalgic purposes. But yeah, it was really cool to finally own that movie. Yeah, I did pre-order it, so I got it like the day before it actually came out. They called me up and said that your movie's here. And I'm just like, yeah, E.T., all right, yeah. Which brings me to the second question. What movie made me say, wow, I love movies, I had, interests that were somewhat diverse when I was a kid. I was into cars some of the time. I was into, games. I was into, this and that and the other thing. Video games were very big with me. But of course, I always liked movies. TV, of course, as well. Some shows. But movies were something, more exciting than pretty much anything else I could think of. But I didn't really come to that, didn't really sort of think carefully about how big of a movie fan I was until Return of the Jedi came out on cable. Of course, I'd seen it a couple times in the theaters, and it was a few years after the movie was in theaters that it finally came to cable. There was an article in TV Guide. TV Guide basically used to be like the size of a paperback. But for the specials and the made-for-TV movies and movies that were getting premiered on on premium cable like HBO, they would devote what they call a close-up, a little sort of sidebar box somewhere in the issue for that particular movie. And when Return of the Jedi was about to air, they had one of these. And what it said was that Return of the Jedi, Empire Strikes Back, and the original Star Wars occupy the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd place in all-time box office grossers. This was like, what are we talking about here, 86, something like that? It was, it was a while back. No Spider-Man yet had come along and made $100 million in just 3 days. That's what happened when the first Spider-Man movie came out in 2002. I was looking at that. It was like, okay, Empire Strikes Back is number 4, Return of the Jedi is number 3, and Star Wars is number 2. And then in parentheses says, oh, by the way, E.T. is number 1. I'm thinking, E.T., right. This is before it came out on video, obviously. I remember that movie. I remember really liking that movie a lot. Damn, I love movies, And so it wasn't even watching a movie that made me think that, it was just reading an article about one. I'm like that a lot of the times. I'll see like a list of movies or favorites of mine, you know, I'm just going, yeah, that's so great. So I have those. It isn't necessarily me sitting and actually watching the thing, but I go crazy, love it, love it, love it, crazy love for movies. So there we go, E.T. again, by way of, you know, a newspaper article. So what foreign films do I want to see? I don't have a list of foreign films that I am interested in. I mean, there are a few that I want to see that I've read about, but nothing real specific. I just hear about this and that every once in a while. I think probably the foreign film that I most would be most interested in seeing at this point is a documentary called The Act of Killing, which came out last year and got tons and tons of great notices. Technically that's a foreign film because it was done in another country, although I can't be sure of that because it could be that some of the people in it speak English. I'm not really sure. I believe it's a foreign film. But I'm not the kind of person that automatically dismisses foreign movies. I just, you know, don't have time to see everything, including all the various American films, or at least English language films that I'm keen on. I finally got around to seeing Closed Circuit, which is technically a foreign film because it's an English production, but it's not really, you know, a foreign language film, obviously. Yeah, there are some foreign films here and there that I'm interested in. Since I live in Chicago, there's plenty of art house theaters like the Music Box and Landmark Century, and there's a theater in Evanston that frequently shows foreign language films, so I have the opportunity to see them. But I don't always take it because I'm devoting my time and money towards those particular films that I'm really sort of most excited for. And let's be honest, I'm not nearly as familiar with the actors and directors of foreign language films in other countries as I am with the American and English, British films that I see. So nothing's really stopping me from seeing foreign films. I'm just choosing not to a lot of the time. Of course, there are some that I really, really like a lot. The City of Lost Children by Jean-Pierre Jeunet. That's one that I really like a lot. And the original Vanilla Sky, Open Your Eyes, with Penelope Cruz. That was one that I enjoyed quite a lot. Made one of my favorites of the year. Also, I really thought that Blue is the Warmest Color, which is a French film that came out last year, was very good. It was like number 6 on my list of the best movies of the year. There's also animated movies, you know, that like Persepolis, that get released, with subtitles rather than redubbed. So technically, that's a foreign language film as well. So I do see them every once in a while. I'm not opposed to seeing them, obviously. Then this is actually the first question, but I saved it for last. The last question is, what film means the most to me? And there are a lot of films that mean a lot to me. So I'd have to say the film that means the most to me is the one that I will hopefully one day make myself. It doesn't exist yet. I've written a script for a film which could be made on a small budget, and I hope that it will someday. I hope that I can actually get something going with that this year, if possible. But yeah, once that's done, and I do want it very much to be done at some point, that will probably be the film that will mean the most to me, because it's sort of like I have all kinds of influences from the various films and various directors who I've seen over the years, and so that's going to be, you know, sort of like a culmination of a lot of different influences, as long as they don't have lots of special effects or big action set pieces in them, because obviously I wouldn't be able to afford them. Not if I was doing them on my own. Now, if someone's from a studio came to me and said, hey, we want to make your movie and David Cronenberg's going to direct it, I'd be like, sure, no problem, you could do it. How likely is that, huh? Not too likely. So, those are my answers to the questions. As I said before, I'm not officially entering Matticus's contest, but I would encourage you to check out his channel and check it out as well, especially if you want that Steelbook of the Wrestler. Could be cool. Thanks very much, and don't forget to check out Matticus's video, the link to which is in the description. See ya.